This is really dark. Why does it keep getting darker? I don't know. So I want to get the candles going. I wanted to get them going earlier. I have like such a crazy mentality. It's like I'm thinking I shouldn't be using the candles because gotta save them for emergencies. And it's like, you know, if it's too dark, I can just go to bed, right? In an emergency with no hydro. But that does improve the lighting though, doesn't it? Makes it a little less blue. How about if it's over here? Does that help? Is that still better, or is it still, yeah, it's dark. Anyway. I don't know if I'm going to send this. But, I mean, I did want to write, and I probably should. Writing is, oh my god. Holy shit, there's like, that, the clouds. There's some big dark clouds right out there. Very dark. Whew. Anyway, the weather's been changing every 10 minutes. I mean, when I sent that rainbow picture, I was like, oh wow, it's not raining. So I actually ran outside and opened the door and put Jules out and pulled out the four rugs and stuff and started brushing them off and swept inside here, vacuumed up some stuff, and then, you know, quickly mopped the floor. And by the time I had done that, and I hadn't even quite finished, you know, brushing off all the rugs outside, it had already started to rain again, but it wasn't super heavy. That's when I took that rainbow shot. I was like, oh man, you know, I gotta stop cleaning to, you know, this is amazing. So, Jules was not impressed, you know, because the wind kept sort of suddenly picking up, and then she was trying to run back inside with the leash on, and I'm like, what are you doing, you know? So I kind of had to shorten her leash so that she couldn't, you know, get in the way as I was trying to quickly clean in between. Then I took her for a walk down the beach, and, well, the sky, it just started pouring again. And like, okay, let's go back, come on, you know, get her back inside, and I'd shaken out the blanket and put her back on the bed, and then I leave to go grocery shopping, and, you know, I'm probably 2 minutes down the road, and it's sunny again and not a cloud in the sky, pretty much. Very strange day. Yeah, it's just been raining off and on for like a few minutes, and then it seems to blow over. Anyway, I guess that's enough of the talk about the weather. I put those lights up today, those twinkly lights. So they're like, it plugs into the USB, and the USB electrical outlet over there has a USB port. And it's 30 feet, so it's going all the way around, and it reaches back to the bed area. And it uses very, very little power, so it's the kind of thing that once, you know, I can use it with the Jackery than in other camping scenarios when I'm not plugged in. And oh yeah, and I thought just for the, I like these ones, the colored ones too, so I thought I'd put those on just because it's nice. Well, I don't know if you. Actually, you know what? I'm not sure if did I say this to you or did I think it? I don't even know. But just in the spirit of how I feel like out in the world we get a lot of negative feedback. We always get told when we're doing something wrong. Or we don't get told and then we just get dropped or fired, right? Anyway, but the point being that a lot of it's negative, and so the odd compliment that I received as a younger adult had such an impact on me that it really made me think that, yeah, you know, it is important to say when you think something nice about someone. And so I do that all the time. I mean, I do that with my children, you know. They're not quite at the stage where they roll their eyes, but I remember when I asked them once, like, do you feel loved? And they're like, Mom, you're kidding, right? Okay, so anyway, that's kind of why I'm like that. And there's many, many good things and nice things to say about you. Even when I don't, even in the times when I thought that there was no way that we could, you know, work something out, I still, you know, I'm very, as much as there's no putting on a pedestal and then tearing someone down. It's just recognizing in a factual, neutral kind of a way. You have these great traits, and you know, we have these great things between us, and then we have these things that aren't quite, you know, lining up, and it's not in a value judgment kind of a way. So I've always, you know, held, you know, you in really, you know, high regard for the great things that you do and have done. So, what happened on the weekend was not what I was expecting. I mean, the contemplation you've been doing is, I'm pretty amazed, and the thoughts and feelings that you shared about all of that, I was just really blown away, actually, and I feel like it's I mean, in my mind, it's a game changer, and I don't know exactly what you want to do with it in terms of, you know, between you and I, but obviously we both have our own things that we need to work on in our own lives, you know, but yeah, I would really like to be as much a part of your journey as possible. If I can stand just outside the line of fire, that would be the ideal. Like, if temper, or I don't know how I think you called it hot-headed, if that's something that happens, yeah, I don't even know, you know, so much about that. There's that, but there's the times of just like really cool and distant, right? And I need to find a spot where I can be where that doesn't cause me pain. Because of, you know, because of me and the way I'm built. Like, sometimes I feel like I'm not quite well suited for this planet. It's like I've likened it to being dropped onto the moon without the right protective gear. Because, I mean, I did have it, but now a lot of it I don't have anymore. And so certain things just really go right in and affect me really deeply. And, you know, it doesn't make anybody wrong. Like, it's just that's kind of how I am at the minute. I'm not sure if it's really productive for me to try and become less sensitive. Maybe to take things less personally. Yeah, for sure. But that takes time, I think, and I don't know. I feel like I understood a lot more about you and where you are at and coming from, and just on a feeling level, like feeling it. I think that's why I started crying in the morning. That's why I started crying in the morning. I'm just, yeah, feeling a lot more. So, not sure. I mean, if I could if I could, or if anyone could prove to you that moving forward in life, opening up with me and the circle of people that you're in with now, like the peeps, if I or someone could prove to you that it was 100% safe and nobody's going to take a shot at you, you know, would you take the leap of faith? You know, like Layla made this comment over the holidays, I think, at some point, where because she's friends with a significant former partner of hers, her first real partner she is friends with, and through a couple of his other relationships she's been a friend. And you know, she was just sort of remarking on how he struggles to even verbalize things that he's feeling. And it's just between the two of them, now that they've been friends post-breakup for many years now, it's just sort of starting, and he's really realizing how important it is to him and how much it's cost him that he hasn't. And she was just going, yeah, it's just so amazing to me because, you know, I'm trying to fathom how he could have gone this long like that, because she goes, I'm sitting there and I'm really open, and I'm kind of like, my feelings, and I'm feeling this, and oh my God, my feelings, you know. And so I mean, she was just sort of going kind of wow, you know, and recognizing a little bit of what that's like for him. So that's kind of the people. So we were walking Jules on the beach last night, and she's like, yeah, you know, you come into this tribe here. I think tribe was my word. You know, I was just saying that, you know, we're such an open group of people. So, you know, and she's saying, yeah, so I mean, you have to be prepared. Oh, I think I made the comment to her that, because I had said to you the other night that, you know, in this group of people, you're definitely safe, and you'll be loved, and you'll be accepted, you know, as you are, within, you know, like, you can't be punching people in the face kind of thing, but, you know, within, you know, within a reasonable realm of behavior. I mean, if you punch somebody, it's not as if they're going to hate you and think you're terrible, but they're going to stand back far enough where they're not getting, you know, they're not in the line of fire, right? So that's all that means. It doesn't mean a value judgment or anything permanent, but there's a standing back or stepping out of harm's way. Anyway, you know, I was just commenting on how, you know, it's hard to get away with anything. You really can't. You can't get away with anything. There's always someone who's going to notice and either, you know, come up and sort of give, you know, a little this, or come up and say, hey, or, yeah, there's just no sort of hiding anything from anyone, I find, in this peer group, this wonderful peer group that I'm in. And she's like, yeah, you pretty much have to be prepared to be, you know, analyzed and, you know, questioned and asked things. And she goes, but not in a way like judging, but just in a way like, hey, kind of what's going on, you know? And it's just so strange and interesting that she's already like that, like so much at age 25. I keep thinking she's 26, but she's not yet. I think... Anyway, I think it's time, because that's a whole other kind of freedom. It's a whole other layer, and I think, yeah, Layla made some comment about that too. Like, don't we all just want to be free to be ourselves and just have it, you know, be acceptable and not have to always worry about it? And And I can honestly tell you that whenever you have shown up vulnerable, you're the right guy. You're the perfect human, you know. I mean, being vulnerable, that's the way to go. You repel the wrong people, you attract the right ones. And I mean, of course, it doesn't mean that you have to walk into the corner store all vulnerable, but with the people that you're sharing time with, it's really, I think, really important. And you've never gone wrong with me when you've done that. It's always brought us closer together. It's always changed my mind from, you know, feeling, you know, pessimistic that things weren't going to line up to going, and especially after this past weekend, like, I just feel really hopeful that, you know, at some point we're going to figure it out. And I feel like where things have been, there's a difference between space and withdrawal. I don't know. There was something more, and I just think that the conversation we had was actually really helpful, because I felt like just like that gesture you did, we were like, it was kind of like, just sometimes that kind of was like like too much. I felt that, and I thought that's what I thought I was seeing that. But you confirmed it then just this weekend, and that makes me feel more sane, you know, because when I was seeing these things, but we weren't talking about it, I started to feel crazy and anxious, and I started going into that anxiety mode, and that didn't help the situation. It put me into something more. I mean, I can go anxious, sure. It's like, put me in the right situation, I can do just about anything. Or not the right situation, but, you know, set of circumstances. I can still have my old attachment, intimacy wounds triggered, absolutely. I mean, I had a partner, the last boyfriend I had would abandon me on a regular basis, and I didn't know if he was ever coming back. And that was really tough, because I really had that with my father. I didn't know the whole story until he was on his deathbed, but when his brother told me a lot more, I mean, I didn't realize how much my mother was involved in that up until that moment, where I found out that, oh, you know, my mom actually didn't let him see me for 5 years. Like, he was fighting, trying to, you know, this might explain some of the drama that happened on the front lawn, and, you know, stuff that I saw and I didn't understand, and, you know, I attributed it all to my dad, you know, in my young life. But he had then some serious bouts with mental health, and he became a bit flaky as to, you know, sometimes he just didn't show up. Or, you know, I'd be waiting for him, I'd be so excited, and he'd be, you know, 2 hours late and show up drunk. So we couldn't, you know, do our plans. And I was pretty young, you know, so. Anyway, so that boyfriend I had, who would just sort of fly off the handle and then take off, and then not answer the phone for 4 or 5 days. You know, although it was in that relationship that I started learning how to self-soothe, and I started learning that, if I just leave him alone, he comes back. So it started to become less dramatic for me when he would do that. Be more like, you know, it was still depressing. It was still upsetting. It was still hurtful to a point. But it, yeah, I learned the value of just doing nothing, you know, instead of, you know, reaching out. Someone doesn't answer, you know, then leave it be. Maybe try again in a few days. Maybe try in a month. If it matters. But to me, connections always mattered enough. So if the person matters enough, then, you know. So that definitely was a thing. What was my point? If you were here, you could probably be like, oh, your point was this. Anyway, I just feel that, I mean, I do feel vulnerable, sensitive, at a point in my life where I can't handle major turmoil. That is true. I'm not going to ask you to trust me. I mean, I know that you said that you did, but let's be realistic. I mean, with the kind of upbringing that we've both had, trust is not something that develops overnight. It's just not realistic. And I don't expect you to just fully trust me. I think that would be, it's not possible. I just hope that maybe when you feel mistrust, that you can remind yourself that that I have promised you that I am not going to, you know, mine you for details that are painful and then tear you apart at some point. You know, if I end up hurting your feelings, it's like it's an accident, or, you know, I am not going to try and manipulate you. I'm not going to try and take advantage of you. I'm not going to try and squeeze you or control you, you know. Like, I want you to be happy. And if you can be happy spending time with me and being friends with me and being lovers with me, maybe partners with me, then that's great. But, you know, if you can't and you need something else, well, first and foremost, that's what I want for you, is for you to be happy. Or at least at peace. That's the first stage, right? Peace. Having some moments of peace. That seems to be the first part. That, you know, things coming back online after things go really awry. But that was probably, the first stage of me, because I would say that my early life, you know, the first 20 years of my life was torture. I had a lot of torture. And, you know, maybe between 20 and 25, I started to have some insight and some experiences that brought me moments of enjoyment and moments of peace. But, you know, like, oh, I'm so happy. Doesn't really work that way. Anyway, I was and am really, really, really impressed. I don't know if that's the right word. I just really, I'm so grateful, and I really value what you did. And I'm glad, because I honestly, I'd lost hope. But, I mean, if you can be that strong to process all of that within a few days, and then talk about it at the length that you did, and I don't know, it gives me a lot of hope, because that was big. Yeah, so I would really like to spend some time with you over here on the island. And I mean, I know you don't have a lot of money, but we can figure out, you know, if I can pick you up at the ferry, then maybe I'll cover the booze and the food then, you know, if you can make it over here, because I just think it would be really good for the soul. Connect to soul. Because you seem like you're very nature, like a real elements person, nature person, so, I mean, obviously, skiing, surfing, growing up on a farm. So I would like that, if you would do that. So I'm going to upload this as an unlisted link, so it's not searchable, and it's only something that can be seen if you have the link. And I'll keep it, keep it anonymous. Dear lover. And if you choose to share it, that's fine. I totally don't mind if you want to share it. Trying this, so you know that beer I had that was it's the Yellow Dog, and I had that one, the porter. What was it, kind of porter? When I went into the store today by the Thrifties in Colwood, they actually had a few different kinds of the Yellow Dog, and they had the Play Dead IPA. So I was like, there's the High Five. I've tried that one a few times. The Play Dead, so I was like, I think I have to try that. I guess if there's anything else really pressing, I can write it. It's interesting because I have, a basket full of journals, mostly, over here. Can you see that? I don't know. Anyway, so this basket. So this is all stuff I typed 22 years ago when I had that transformative experience with Paul, the one where I learned so much. And my intent was on this trip to, at some point, edit it all and do something with it. That's Kate's novel. The opening chapter made me cry. And then these are all journals. Here's like a note of Layla's that I found. Her mission. It was about her dad and I talking about, could she go to the store, why she couldn't go to the store or something, Anyway, so there's lots of stuff in here. I mean, this, oh my God, like I think this is my first ever journal. So it's all here. Definitely going to do something with it, especially that file. And it was a great night, a really great night and morning. And yeah, you're amazing. You're a pro. I hope you didn't take it personally in a bad way when I was like that you could be a pro, because you're really good. Yeah. And I just need to have the permission. Well, I guess I'm still, you see, remember how I was like, you know, let's talk in a couple of months, 2 or 3 months, and see if you still want this with me? This is kind of, it was kind of just from experience, you know. Most people on the planet find me to be way too much to deal with. But, yet a lot of them end up being in my life forever in one way or another, right? So that's why. Just wanted to check in and be like, yeah, in 60 to 90 days you can tell me if you're really all in. Because I think that if you are willing to let me love you, then I'm in. I have had some difficulty running into your armor. And I think that, you know, we all develop our own brand of defense that's particular to our upbringing, and it was necessary for survival at the time. But at this stage in life, those defenses are hindering us and destroying our potential to have a really meaningful, soul-shaking connection, right? And that's what I want. And I've had some soul shaking go on in my life, you know, through friends, and to, you know, the odd time, you know, with an intimate partner, you know, but only to a degree. And it's just kind of how I'm built now, and I don't know how to dial it back. I don't know how. And so it's just a question of is that what you want? Because if you do, it is safe, you know. It's like you can choose fear or you can choose love. That's the choice. You can't, the more you try and ride the line of having your foot in both, that fucks everything up. You gotta, at some point, you know, and yes, it is a bit earth-shattering. I'll share with you that love story thing. It's really rough. I don't even know if I can find it. But if I can, it'll be quite the miracle. You know what? Oh my God, yeah. Well, here's a miracle for you. Just like right near the top. And it was something that it was way into the 3 years that I contemplated this. So, here it is. Love story. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if it's blurry because my eyes are bad. But anyway. So, love story from the Book of Twins. Do you see how life sums itself up in every experience? In a moment of love, it can seem like one's life flashes before your eyes. To tell of the poetry of this summer has required that I revisit the past because of all that was triggered in me by these experiences. Our lives are each a unique tapestry, and time, capital T, is like a thread on the end of a needle. It is the thread of the past and sometimes One can feel the thread of the past flowing through the present moment, like when the needle must puncture the fabric to make a new stitch. It drags the rest of the thread behind it. This was one of the bliss experiences that I had when this image first came to me. In a love story, it's not the where or what's he did or she did or said. It's the gravity of love that, pressing against the surface of the tapestry, penetrates, and with every stitch, love weaves its way through the fabric of a life story, adding for a time a new color, pattern, or texture. And as it does, it touches threads that existed before, perhaps sensitizing some joy, sadness, fear, some memory from a time lost to us. That is what gives life its poetry and sense of beauty. The past then comes alive in this moment, giving us the chance to heal. The scars are fixed, but the wounds are open to heal. That which is buried cannot heal. The thread of love weaves its way through, causing twinges in other parts of the fabric, and parts that are dead, parts of myself that are dead, are somehow revived, and like coming out of the dark, the light burns the eyes, and it's painful loving and being loved, though it gives us a second chance to nurture wounds into healing with less of a scar. So, I wrote that when I was, well, about 30, right? When I was in that exploratory new thing, just because I was with someone who was able to be present, really intact, the emotions and touch and presence and awareness and everything was there. And he was a very passionate individual, and like I said, sometimes he'd wake up and start smashing shit, and other times just wake up crying, and we'd make love, I cried a lot too, because both my parents died in that 3-year time frame, right? So I had a lot going on, and but it worked. It worked, and it was really cathartic and really freeing, and it just showed me a whole new world of what's possible. And I feel like we have a lot we could do if we're able to move forward and leave those defenses behind. So, let me know what you think at some point, one way or another. Bye for now.